enter enlightenment together. Homage to the master teacher, Vairocana Buddha, compassionate Lord of the lotus-born universe, expounding the treasured verses of the sacred golden text contained within precious cases, written on jade scrolls. Each dust mote interpenetrates and the universe becomes one. Every realm is united with all other worlds. The truth is contained in the 1,095,048 words of the utmost vehicle's consummate teaching. Homage to the Avatamsaka Sutra expounded by the Buddha. To understand the Buddhas of endless time, just penetrate this phrase. Everything is created by mind alone. The mantra of shattering hell. Namoata Shijinam Samyak Samota Guchinam. Om Majana Babasi Jiri Jiri Om. Namoata Shijinam Samyak Samota Guchinam. Om Majana Babasi Jiri Jiri Om. Namoata Shijinam Samyak Samota Guchinam. Om Majana Babasi Jiri Jiri Om. Vowing now for the rest of my life not to give rise to extraneous thoughts, following only Amitabha Buddha. Thought after thought will constantly merge with the rays of his jade-like brilliance, each instant never leaving the qualities of his golden form. Holding a mala and bearing witness to the universal Dharma realm, empty space is but a thread leaving nothing unconnected. There is nowhere that Vairocana Buddha is not present equally. Through contemplation, seek Amitabha of the western shore. Homage to the great teaching master, Lord of the western shore, the Buddha, the Tathagata of infinite light. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. The land of ultimate bliss has 10 kinds of adornment. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. It is adorned with Dharmakaras now, his cultivation cause. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with the power of Amitabha's 48 vows. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with Amitabha's name and the brilliance of his life force. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with bejeweled images observed by the three Mahasattvas. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with the peaceful bliss of Amitabha's western world. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with bejeweled rivers running with pure and meritorious waters. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with lengthy days and nights. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with the pure land's 24 kinds of pleasures. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Adorned with the 30 kinds of beneficial merit. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha Buddha, who is unparalleled in heaven or on earth. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. He is also unmatched throughout the worlds of the 10 directions. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. He has seen the annihilation of self and everything in the world. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. There is no one who is like Amitabha Buddha. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. He can keep track of thoughts as numerous as all the dust motes in the universe. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. He can walk all the waters in the universe. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. He can control the wind that fills space. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. No one can completely describe that Buddha's merits. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha Buddha is omnipresent. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Keep your thoughts on him and never forget. As thoughts probe that place of no thought, the six sense gates will constantly emanate light of purple and gold. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Amitabha's face, like the full moon, is at the front of the hall of ultimate bliss. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. His jade excrescence and his gold form radiate through space. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. If a person call his name for only a moment, they will instantly consummate immeasurable merit. Homage to Amitabha Buddha. Along with all sentient beings, I vow together to enter the sea of Amitabha's great vows, and to ferry across sentient beings, so that I and others may simultaneously complete the path to Buddhahood. The sublime mantra of the original mind of Amitabha Buddha. Anyatao Maritara Sabhana. Anyatao Maritara Sabhana. Vitara Sabama.
It is traditionally held that the beginning of the Zen lineage, as it were, began all the way back in the time of the Buddha. And during an assembly, the Buddha held up a flower, and he met eyes with his great disciple, Mahakashapa. And as he held up this flower, I will hold it again. He held up this flower, and their eyes met, and they smiled, and they knew. Words fall short. In our own Korean lineage, there's a master from the early 20th century named Master Mangon. And he said, the whole world is a single flower. I'm showing you these flowers because they were left as a gift to us this morning. And so my gift back to you is my body practice. It goes like this. Even spiritual masters can't find it. Racking their brains with schemes and plans, the months and years, a running river. Then there's the day you wake up old. What is the one thing? Good morning, everyone joining us from the 10 directions. Please join us now in the three refuges, first in Sino-Korean, or short gable, sometimes we call it, followed by the English refuges afterwards. English? I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the three jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. If you have it, you could follow along with the Heart Sutra. Maha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion, from the deep practice of prajna paramita, perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas, and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, consciousness. No ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna paramita is the great Dharani, the radiant fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna paramita. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisattva. Maha prajna paramita hridaya sutra. Well, good morning and welcome once again. Just waiting for Susan to rejoin me here. Normally I begin with the Dharma verse. Oh,
Have to record it.
I have to stop.
Now you can go.
Okay, I'm allowed to go. So normally I begin with the Dharma verse. Today I will end with the Dharma verse a little later on. First, I want to tell you a story that my teacher told me and many other people It's a traditional story kind of from our Korean lineage practice. And it begins with an unnamed student who approaches Master Hyungbang. And the student is very eager, very willing to learn. He says, comes to the master and he says, Master, I want to practice Zen. I want to learn this practice. I want to become enlightened. And Master Hyungbang says, my Dharma is very expensive. So the student says, well, I have money. I'll give you all the money I have. And the master says, even if I had all the money in the world, my Dharma would still be much too expensive. And so with this, the student goes off and practices alone for several months, practices very hard. And one day the student comes back to see Master Hyungbang. And he says, okay, I've got it. I'll give you my life. You can have the whole thing. I'll do everything for you. I'll do anything for you. Just tell me what to do. And the master says, no. Even if I had 1,000 lives, my Dharma would still be much too expensive. So the student goes away again for a few months, keeps practicing really hard. And once again comes back to see the master. So I really have it this time. I give you my mind. And the master says, what would I want a stinking pail of garbage like that for? He says, my Dharma is much too expensive. That's my favorite part. And so the student's starting to feel a little dejected, but he presses on, he goes away, he keeps practicing. And he practices. He keeps his sitting practice. He keeps his mindfulness as much as possible all through the day, all through the 24 hours. And he comes back again, thinks he's really got something. He comes back to the master. He says, Master, I understand that the whole universe is empty. I have attained emptiness. And the master says, show me. But before he can even get all the words out, the student shouts, cats! This is like a big sort of belly expression. It's not like the fuzzy animal. It's just a shout, it's a yell. And the master just shakes his head and he says, my Dharma is still even more expensive than that. So he leaves, the student leaves confused. It's like, I thought I really had it that time. But he doesn't give up. He keeps going, he keeps practicing. He's like, makes a vow to himself, I'm not going to come back until I have attained full awakening. So he goes and he leaves for quite some time, and he continues his practice. And then he thinks he finds it. So he goes back to the master, and the master says, well, what do you have for me? And the student just says, the sky is blue, the grass is green. And the master says, my Dharma is still much too expensive. At this, the student, in his complete confusion, throws everything away, gets really angry, and he says, you can take your Dharma and shove it up your ass. He actually said that. That's how it's recorded. And at this, the master laughs, which makes him even more mad. And so he runs off, and he goes heads for the door, and before he's about to slam the door, the master says, wait, hold on a minute. And so the student turns back, and the master says, don't lose my Dharma. At that moment, student attains full awakening. So what is the one thing? So today you might be wondering why Susan and I are both sitting on this platform today. I have a somewhat challenging announcement to present to everyone in this community, which is that we submitted a letter to our teachers and friends, the board of directors, of our intention to step away from Dharma teaching for an indeterminate amount of time. And I'm going to read to you some of the letter which we wrote to them so that you have some understanding as to why. So in a sense, this Dharma is very expensive, and it is my intention to give you a little bit of a window, perhaps, into American Zen and American Buddhism as a whole. It's perhaps a little bit of a window that most people don't get a chance to look through, which is why I'm going to read some of this. This will probably be the first time I've ever read prepared words. As you know, normally I don't really prepare anything. So I will read the relevant parts so you don't get bored. And so I wrote, we haven't really fully accounted for how this temple is being paid for. And it is not just with currency. I work 40 to 50 hours per week in a job that is overtime, investing me with more responsibility. And the week consists of me getting home from work, having a cup of tea, making dinner for my family, and then sitting down at the computer to work on temple matters for the rest of the evening until bed. That's most days. During the regular practice year, so this would be September through May, this also includes running kids to and from ballet and karate, and also tending to one that we now have going to college at Aquinas. We have 4 kids in all, for anybody who doesn't know. Weekends that are time off from my job are mostly spent at the temple, squeezing in meditation time, sitting in front of a computer working on temple programming, administration, or emails. And as I did recently, which I've done many other times, I use my paid time off to spend days working for the temple, which is the first job I had paid time off with, by the way, which is pretty great. Right now, and through this entire journey, our house has been almost a constant mess. Our garage is a complete mess of junk and improperly stored items. The lawn barely gets mowed. The garage door has been broken for 3 years. I still prop it up with a piece of wood. A retaining wall is falling apart. We need a new roof. Ceilings and walls need repair. Failing appliances need to be updated. The car needs to be repaired. The kids need doctor and dentist appointments, and the list goes on, I assure you. Many of these things that need fixing, I have to do myself because we don't have enough money to pay others to fix them for us. But I also don't have time to take care of them. We miss making appointments or calls because we are too busy. Additionally, Susan homeschools the kids as we have always done, and she struggles to create curriculum plans and make time to help them with it and prepare them for adulthood. Somebody appears to have decided to run some heavy equipment right outside the temple door.
Might have to speak up.
And so last year we discovered that one of the kids had been cheating on their math lessons, and we didn't catch it because, quite simply, we weren't paying attention. And because we weren't paying attention, I thought maybe they didn't have to do that. I probably would have done that. I didn't like math very much. And so ultimately, the people truly underwriting the cost of running the temple is our children. And that cost cannot be measured except in lost time and attention that they will never get back if we continue this course. They've been left longer on screens and TV than they ought to have been so that we can accomplish just a little more. They have been told no to their repeated attempts to just try to spend time with us or get our attention. And this June, my homemade Father's Day card said, "You're the best dad I could ever have, even though you are never here very much." Not only was I away at work, but this even applied to when I was at home, because when I was at home, I was still working. The other one said, "I like to have fun with Dad, but he's always too busy." And so I've been troubled by the conflict between my Dharma commitments and family for many years. But this was something of a wake-up call. And my heart just kind of sank, as you can imagine. And so what I wrote in my letter was, sadly, we are actually prioritizing helping people that we don't know as well over being here for our family. And my own teacher, actually, this has been very instructive for me over the years. My own teacher raised her two children in the temple as a single mother because, on account of running the temple, she lost her marriage, and her children grew up actually resenting the Dharma because their mother spent so much time with developing the temple, which has grown into a beautiful organization called the Buddhist Society for Compassionate Wisdom, which is now an umbrella organization for 5 different temples between here, Canada, and Mexico City. But that was a pretty great cost. And I'm not sure that I can pay it. And so we had a conversation recently with our teacher, and she said that she's spending her elder years trying to atone for that, and she's been trying to heal that relationship with her children for the last several years. She's now in her mid to late 70s, and she's trying to spend a lot more time with her kids, who are now actually about our age. And one of the things she said to us on that phone call was, don't wait till you're old to make amends. I think that applies to just about everything, not just this situation. And so we're still part of this community, but we just have to step away from the responsibility of teaching for some time and make sure that we are taking good care. I'm reminded of my Samu Sunam's words, taking good care of the body, mind of your Dharma student training. So this comes from something called the Everyday Admonitions for Dharma Students. I repeated this monthly or weekly. And so it is my intention to now take good care of the body, mind, and the life of my Dharma student training. But I don't want to be the only one speaking, so I'm going to turn it over to Susan so that she may have some words for you.
I didn't really prepare any words, which is probably more unusual for me. This has been a really hard decision. And it's really hard to let go of something that you love so much. We started here at the temple in 2013. I started with the Sangha School program, working with the children. My own 3 children were part of the Sangha School program. And I truly loved the time that we have spent here and all that we have accomplished. I can say that I am very proud of what we have accomplished in our years here at the temple. I feel that we always tried to bring integrity and honesty to everything that we offered, and tried to impart those values as much as possible. Between what is now known as the Dharma Council, our clergy members, and the board of directors that we currently have, we have accomplished so much in the last 2 to 3 years. We've created a nonprofit G Suite, Google Suite account to help us keep track of documentation and pictures and class and training information. Ceremonies. This was something that we did not have the benefit of early on, so that whenever someone left, all of the work that had been done was lost and had to be recreated from scratch. So now we have the temple has the ability to take everything that has been created within the last 2 to 3 years and use it going forward. I'm very excited to see my Dharma sisters, Aisu and Shuji, return to the temple and help out, become part of the Dharma Council. Shuji just has a wealth of experience in Buddhism, and Aisu has a real gift for creating community. I'm very pleased to see them and look forward to when we can open up the temple again and all be together in person. I'm also looking forward to a nice rest. I'm looking forward to this fall of homeschooling a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary student while giving support to my stepdaughter who's in college. So giving up some things, which is hard, but beginning and continuing other things which are good. So I want to assure you that the temple is in good hands. The leadership of the temple is in good hands. Our board of directors are all very capable people, and I have really enjoyed working with them. And we're still around. We are still in Grand Rapids and will still continue to show up. So from the bottom of our hearts and minds, I want to thank you all so much for giving us this opportunity and for being a part of our Sangha.
So we'll still be available to take any Dharma questions and, through email or calls or whatever. And you're always welcome to have tea in our garden with us. Yeah? Yeah, when we're actually allowed to spend time near each other. And so, as I promised, I'll finish with a Dharma verse. Letting go is the way of nature. Attaining nobility without rank, just become an ordinary person with nothing left to do. Please join us now for a short meditation so we can share silence together. please join us for closing gathas. And we say together, for all unskillful action ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts, now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddha's teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. And I bow again to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Hello to everyone. Anko, Jeremy, Yangsu, Kate, Jennifer. I'm not sure who Kitty Catty is. Shane, Mushin, Jinya, hi Kat, Morgan, hi Sue, hello. I'm just reading your comments. Thank you. Kent, Chris as well, thank you. Thank you all for being here today. And we'll be seeing you.
Thank you for the flowers once again.
Bye-bye.